So I started Prepare4VC with a background in venture capital and as a startup founder myself, looking to offer the resources I saw were lacking in the community. There were a lot of great founders that knew how to pitch to their customers or how to talk to people in their industry, but didn't really know where to start when it came to both preparing a pitch that was a completely different model, like talking about the market and the financials and the business scalability, pitching to investors, and then even how to get in the room with the right people. And so that was our starting point was um, Steve on our team likes to joke it was Jason as a service. It was me going out and helping people with their pitches and presentations. And then that was back in 2016, 2017. A few years later, built up the team, around 2020. And we saw there's actually a much bigger problem. There's lack of access to resources overall. At startup education, people pushing back and telling you when something's not a good idea and when, there's other opportunities to explore and helping people get out in front of the community and test and get active feedback earlier on. So we created what's now a 10 to 12 week accelerator program called our Breakthrough program. And we also operate the Boston New Technology community the last 3 years as well. And we host a lot of community events from startup showcases to 3-day hackathon events and different workshops and webinars and pitch practices, and create a space where any startup can figure out what are the resources for them in that specific stage, who can they connect with as mentors, and what programs should they go through. And we work with a lot of the other communities around the Boston area as well, and other programs to help founders figure out what they actually need and how they can get on the right growth path. We've done 8 programs of the accelerator, and then gearing up for our March cohort coming up in a few weeks. And then we've also worked with a lot of one-on-one like consulting and coaching clients as well. We're technology focused, so it's been everything from ed tech, fintech, health tech, a lot of B2B businesses as well. And then we always see the tech trends where a few years ago there were a lot more blockchain and Web3 businesses. Now there's a lot of AI companies. I think there's going to be some element of AI that's here to stay, enabling any sort of business in the future, but there'll be kind of companies figuring out, are they an AI company or are they an ed tech company that happens to use AI as part of their software suite? I think there's always 2 different mindsets of founders. So there's the founders that come in and want somebody to help them prove that they're a $20 million company when they're a pre-revenue business that hasn't talked to customers yet. And then there's founders that come in and, actively want that feedback, and they want somebody to tell them where am I now? What do I need to get to the specific phase I want to be at? And, what can I do to improve our valuation? What can I do to, figure out if I was raising from investors now, what should that look like? So we love working with the second group, and then the first group, we like, kind of giving those stress tests and saying, okay, go out and start pitching investors and take their feedback in, and then come back to us and we'll, help you figure out how to answer those questions and how to adjust your strategy from there. But anybody that's, open, actively looking to learn, and those are the founders that also, tend to also be the best in a cohort setting, because a group of people looking to learn together gives feedback to each other and helps each other out as well. Like anytime they can make introductions of people they've met that can help another business, or there's something that's worked in an ed tech company that they can help a fintech founder go through similar strategies. They're not competing with each other, and they just want everybody to be successful in the group. Those are the founders we love to work with. Yeah, we have a few different stages we come in. So on the community side, it starts as early as you're coming up with an idea. Like, we do our the end of May with Boston New Technology. We're hosting the Techstars Startup Weekend event. So that's a 3-day hackathon, May 30th to June 1st. So that's where, anybody can come out, whether you have an idea or you want to join a team and figure out how a startup works and work on somebody else's idea through the weekend. We have different mentors and speakers, and you get to pitch to a panel of judges on what you built over 3 days. So we start very early on that side. Most of our showcase events are, you've started like prototyping, building out, creating the MVP version, and you want to get this out to the community. And then in our Breakthrough Accelerator program, that's where you're somewhere between the MVP to early revenue phase. And, generally, if you've raised anything, it's like friends and family or angels. A lot of our companies are bootstrap founders, and you're going after that more formalized pre-seed round. And you have about a couple months of working with us to actually gear up and get ready for both, expanding your customer growth and journey, and getting out there and pitching investors as well. I was talking to a couple founders last night. It went out to an event at with the Unboxed group, and basically, we were talking about. I was talking to some of the founders over there that, I mean, at least for me, I'm at a point where any event I go to, I probably know, 25 to 30% of the people, and then there's like 70% I meet out at the event. So there's like it's both a big and small community at the same time, where there's a lot of, there's something going on every night of the week. And there's a lot of like the community that knows each other already, and then there's new people you're meeting for the first time, or people that have been heads down, like building for 6 months, or they're in a phase where they can't be going out to as many networking events, and now they're starting to kind of gear up for their next round, or they're gearing up for more marketing and promotion and getting back out there. And then you start to see that community again. There's also like, I'd say, kind of a shift too, when a lot of the events, a few years ago were styled in a similar way, but people are kind of breaking out of the mold and like creating new ways to get people together, whether it's like, some smaller group events or different styles. Where I went to an event the other night where there was a panel, and then each of the speakers had their own breakout sessions. You could go and meet and, get to know each other. And then, I think one of the things we've been working on too is there's been a lot of the founders at events are always looking to meet investors, but most of the community events tend to be geared towards like I'd say the majority of audiences are pre-seed to seed stage founders, and then advisors or service providers, and yeah, we've been featuring more investors either as panelists or just inviting them and saying, come and sit in the first 2 rows. You'll be the first ones to ask questions. We want to give you the spotlight, give you the deal flow. The founders are looking to meet you as well, so kind of giving more access to local partners in the community, people that are looking to give back and help founders as well. And that's part of also why we created our pitch practice series, is like every week on a Thursday on Zoom. We dedicate an hour. We bring in different mentors from different backgrounds, and anybody can come in and practice their pitch and presentation and gear up for going out and starting to get into the community, whether it's their first time going out there and they've never spoken to somebody about their business, or whether they've done it 100 times and they need the 101st to be a little bit different than the last one. But yeah, creating, all these opportunities and then being able to direct founders to what else is actually out there that can, be a good resource for them, because there's always something happening. For a founder that's starting to look for funding, the biggest thing is, first and foremost, you are telling a story. So, a lot of times, especially if you're coming from more of a technical background, the focus on your first version of your pitch tends to be more towards, what are the features and functions and how have we built this technologically that nobody else has. But what investors really want to hear is, what do the customers care about? Your customers don't necessarily care about that your system is built on like all these complex machine learning algorithms. They care about, what can it actually do to solve the problems that they have. So it's hearing that story, hearing like, why are customers going to be excited for this? Are they already excited? What does the next phase look like? And showing that story of, if we had, we're going to build this with or without investment. If we had investment, we're going to go 5 times faster and we're going to achieve these goals in the next 18 months. And, that's why we're here to raise investment. So the more you can paint that accurate picture, the easier time it's going to be fundraising. For navigating events around the Boston area, I'd say, to start, if you're going out there for the first time, go out and try a lot of different groups and then figure out which ones resonate with you the most. What style do you like? Do you like, are you in a mode where you're looking to learn from as many speakers and panels as possible? Are you looking to see as many startup presentations and see how it applies to your venture and how you can create better pitches? Or are you looking for pure networking? And in that case too, it's also, there's networking because you're meeting people that like the same speakers and like the same, educational events. And then there's networking that's kind of a pure like happy hour event, or, going out to Venture Cafe in Cambridge on a Thursday and, seeing who's there and, talking to people for a couple hours. And yeah, one of the things, he was one of the original, organizers of the group that we now run, Boston New Technology. Tom, one of the kind of co-founders there, he told me when I was starting to go out to events, like, your goal should be meet as many people at the event and then decide 1 or 2 people that you want to have coffee with over the next week, and, figure out who those people are. And you need to, go out, speak to as many people to figure that out. But you're not going to be able to follow up and meet with 30 different people you met at the event. You're going to find, who are the 1 or 2 or 3 people that you made a meaningful contact with, that you want to build a relationship with from there. Yeah, one of the resources we're really excited about that we launched with Prepare4VC is we have this tool called ChartMyCourse. So it's a free resource on our website. Any founder can fill out a quick form. We supplement with any other information if you shared a deck with us or if we've had previous conversations. And then we send an analysis that says, this is our basically due diligence assessment of where you are now as a startup, what your immediate resources should be checking out in the community, what your short-term and long-term goals should be as a business, and see if it aligns with the founder's goals and needs. And then we work with them to craft the plan from there of, should they be looking, is this something they can all achieve on their own? Should they be looking for accelerator program? Should they be looking for one-on-one coaching and support? Should they just be going out to as many events as possible? Or are there specific partners we can recommend that, might be different service providers we built up relationships with and have, we know they're the people that can solve the problems they currently have as well. So we offer this as a free tool, and the goal is, these are recommendations you can go out and solve on your own, or if you want additional help and support, we're there to provide that guidance as well.